my channel. I'm Jan and this is Let's Chat with Jan. So I know you guys see from the topic what we're getting ready to get into today, but before we do, go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on the post notification bell so every single time I post a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. So I know you guys see from the topic what we're going to talk about, but before I do, I just want to make a small disclaimer. This video is going to be just a few tips on how to recover from an abusive or toxic relationship. I'm not an expert, so I pretty much just did a little bit of research, actually a lot of research, but I wanted to just pick out the main ones and the most common that I have seen over and over and over. Whether in, people are asking me questions or I've seen it in groups. I've also, just while I'm researching, I'm pretty much seeing the same repetitive tips and, things to help people recover from abusive, toxic relationships. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so I'm going to let you guys know that I'm going to be going back and forth, looking at the camera, looking at my phone, because I did write a couple things down so that I can make sure I stay on track on what I want to touch on in this video. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so I know in an abusive, toxic relationship, it is hard to recover from that a lot of the times. Like I said, like I've seen before, and even in my own personal experience, I have also seen that it is hard to pretty much recover from it. But just know this, guys, you have so much power and strength within yourself that it is possible to recover from it. You just have to know what steps to take, okay? All right, so let's get into the first one. So I know that sometimes, a lot of the time, when a toxic relationship has recently ended or has ended even a while ago, when I say a while, I mean like a couple months or a year or so ago, it is normally difficult to pretty much deal with recovering because there's a lot of hurt and confusion. Like I said, I'm sorry guys if I'm not looking directly at the camera. I'm just making sure that I stay on point. You know that deep down on the inside that you were not to blame, you still end up believing that you caused the relationship to go in the direction that it did because of the narcissistic traits from the abuse. When you are wondering what you could have done differently to prevent a lot of the abuse, or even help the situation, you still ended up being blamed. With what I've researched, what I have talked to people, the other people about, and what I have also personally experienced, toxic relationships also share a lot of similarities with addiction. So like some people are addicted to drugs, they're addicted to alcohol, they're addicted to so many different things, shopping, spending money, but the most common addictions are drugs and alcohol. Say a lot of toxic relationships are very similar to these addictions. Okay, so reason why I say that the toxic relationship is very similar to addiction, it is because it's very intoxicating. Think about when a person is taking drugs or drinking alcohol in excess. It becomes intoxicating to the body, right? And now switching to abuse is very intoxicating. It's not healthy. It makes you sick. It makes you even look different in your face and in your body. You don't you start to not take care of yourself as you used to before you entered into this toxic relationship. So it is very intoxicating, and that is why I see that it's very, very similar to addiction. Right. So I just kind of want to jump right into the the topics. So the first tip in recovery is acknowledging and accept the abuse. Now, when I say accept the abuse, what I mean is you're going to acknowledge and accept, meaning that you're going to recognize that you did experience the abuse, whether it's from a romantic partner, family member, or a friend. Because a lot of this abuse normally comes from people that we know clearly. And people that are close to us, people that we don't think that will ever hurt or harm us in any way, shape, or form. But it comes from these same. In the beginning of the healing process, you might have a hard time pretty much setting aside and rationalizing excuses of the other person's behavior. Now, with that being said, you're sitting there and you're blaming yourself, and you're saying, okay, well, maybe the reason why he or she did this was because of this reason, or he or she did this because of this. And you're pretty much trying to say, okay, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I said something that came off the wrong way. Don't blame yourself. I know there are some times where we do get triggered into saying certain things back to these abusers and these toxic relationships, and then because of their narcissistic, abusive habits and behaviors, they turn around and they get physical. Or they may say something verbally to hurt you, or hurt you emotionally or mentally, or put you down in some way, shape, or form. But I don't want you to ever blame yourself, because it is not 100%. Even if it was 5%, 2% of you, it still does not warrant for this toxic behavior, for this narcissistic abuse. That's no excuse. Like I said in my other videos, a huge no-no. Start to see these signs, recognize them, and get out. I know it's easier said than done, because it took me a while to get out of my abusive relationship. I had to plan correctly. Once I leave, I will not be coming back to it, because I have to choose me. I have to choose my kids. I have to choose the right path to go, so that it does not, pretty much backfire, and I would have to end up going back. So I had to make sure that I plan it correctly. And on top of that, I personally felt like I had caused a lot of these things to happen. And while I'm sitting back now that I'm well out of the relationship now for a few years, but at the same time, it's like I started to think, well, did I say something that caused him to do that? Did I do something that he didn't like, and I didn't know that he didn't like it? No, I didn't. It was the total opposite, but at the end of the day, we tend to blame ourselves, because we were so manipulated to the point where it's like, you're causing me to do this. Don't sit and blame yourself. All right. So let's go on to the next topic here. Before we go on, I do want to say that denial can protect you in a way. And I'm going to say this: a strong romantic or familial love overshadows reality for many people. That is one clue that one tip that I saw, and I was like, I have to write this down, because this right here is so true. And I'm going to say it again. Denial can protect you in a way. Strong romantic or familial love overshadows reality for many people. And it's also tough to accept that some people just don't seem to care when they hurt others. In the comments if you guys have gone through this personally, or have you seen a family member or a friend go through something like this. But I'm going to tell you a personal experience. It was so many, but I'm going to just pick one. There was one time where I didn't know what I did. And then I was abused. And I sat there and I was like, what did I do? What did I say? you know? And all along, it had nothing to do with me. That person was fighting demons, and those demons were attacking me. And I know it's very personal, but I'm an open book. So I like to share my experiences because I do believe that God has given me the keys, allowed me to go through a lot of the things, even though a lot of the times I did question God. I'm like, why are you allowing me to go through this? Because you said nothing happened unless you allow it to. But I had to realize on the spiritual end that God was allowing me to go through this, but he still kept me, he still protected me, and he opened a door and a way and made a way for myself and my kids to get out. In that moment, he wanted me to know and get some keys so I can do this. So I can sit here and talk to you guys to empower you all to make sure that you guys are strong, and letting you guys know that you guys have so much potential, and you guys are so strong, especially if you have made it out of a toxic, abusive, narcissistic relationship. That is tough altogether. Just being in one and surviving one is even greater than being in one. You survived. You're a survivor. Okay? And I want you guys to know that when that person hurt me, they didn't care. I cried. I asked why are you doing this? They didn't care. The look on their face, it was just like, because I want to type thing, you know? And because I felt like it. So I was just pretty much a human punching. But I do want to just encourage you guys to let you guys know that it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And if you do experience these things, make sure that you get out. So the first one that we did talk about was acknowledge and accept the abuse. And the second one is set your boundaries and state them clearly. You are the ruler of you, okay? You make decisions for yourself. You don't let anyone make or control you in any way, shape, or form and think that it's okay. So you have to set boundaries and make it very plain. Even moving forward into a new relationship. And when I say state your boundaries and make them clear, don't be nasty about it or have an attitude or just, like, oh, I'm better than you. In all actuality, you are better. But, don't put it out there like that where it's pretty much a turnoff for a new relationship. But just know what your boundaries are, set your boundaries and make them clear. This is relationship, friendship, whatever type of ship, okay, that you may be getting into. So another one of these setting boundaries is going no contact, right? And that isn't just a boundary for them, it's a boundary for you, okay? One that you might find extremely difficult at first. I know, because deep down on the inside, you love that person and you have always loved that person, and you never expected this person to treat you or talk to you the way that they did, but it was tolerated. And a lot of the times, and it's so sad to say, and I'm guilty of this as well, a lot of the times we tend to find the hope and that it's going to get better type thing in this abusive, toxic relationship. That is hard when we do go no contact. It's hard to not contact, or if they contact you, it's hard to, not communicate with them. I have done that in the beginning of me leaving. And at some point, and I know a lot of us is guilty of that, but just know that it's normal. It's normal because you genuinely have love and care for them. It's common to feel tempted to reach out or to respond, like I just said, during phone calls and messages, especially if they apologize sincerely and promise to change. Now, my mom always said a promise is a comfort to a fool. Okay? And I know deep down on the inside and on the outside and all around me, from top to bottom, inside and out, that when they promise to change, they're not going to. And the reason why is because they're so stuck in their ways, because this is who they've been for so long. Only God can help them to change. And they have to have that willing heart in order to change. If they're not willing and ready to change, they can say out of their mouth that they're going to change, but there's no change. It's not going to change. So don't be fooled by these sweet nothings. That's another word my mom used to always say. That don't be fooled by these sweet nothings. You're not a fool. So don't take no promises. Okay? Promise is a comfort to a fool, and you are not a fool. Just know that these false promises and these sweet nothings are coming from exactly where that is. Nothing. It's just empty promises. What you can do in order to set another boundary is block their number, email address, any social media accounts, anything like that. No contact. No contact means no contact. Do not try to reach out. Oh, let me just accidentally send a text message and say it's to somebody else. No contact at all. Because I know that talking to somebody that I know, they have done that before. And I was like, no, don't do that. No contact means no contact. Whether you contact them a little bit or even accept or entertain their foolishness, that's exactly what it is. It's entertainment. And it's a way to win you back. If they were good, you wouldn't have left. If they were any type of good, because people do not run from good. No contact by phone, by text message, by emails, by social media. Block them on every level. If they communicate with a certain family member and that family member know what you have been going through, or a friend, then you need to cut those people off as well. Because if they still associate themselves with the person that have been very toxic and abusive to you, then they clearly don't have your good intentions. They don't have good intentions for you. So it will be best to also go no contact with them as well if your abuser is still communicating or trying to get to you through them. That's no contact at all. Going no contact isn't possible in every situation though. Maybe you have children with this person or with the ex-partner. And they're, like I said, a family member you'll see occasionally. Sometimes you have to go through third party, especially when you have children. I personally did this. I know other people that have done this, and I've seen it in different situations, in groups, and places that I have spoken to other women that have been abused and everything. Where we have children, and it's like, how can I not communicate with this person when you're going no contact? It is possible, but sometimes it is difficult to go no contact. And the only reason why I say that is because if children are involved, okay? What I personally did, I got third party. When my mom was alive, my mom was that third party person that was that mediator. Mom, it's time for the kids to go to their dad. Okay, she came, picked them up, and she took them over to their dad. I had no contact whatsoever. If he needs to come communicate with me about anything where the children are concerned, he voices that either through his mother or my mother. Okay, and that's how I did it. Because when I said I don't want no contact, I'm purging myself completely of this situation. This was years ago, and I was into another abusive relationship just recently. And that I got out of, thank God. And it was the same way, no contact. So it is possible. in a lot of situations, but there again, it may not be possible. Maybe you don't have that third party person to go between or mediate and say, okay, I'll take the kids here, I'll take the kids to him or her, or we can meet up somewhere. Think about what you want and what you need and setting your boundaries and being clear about it. Think about what you want and what you need. Anything that's positive, anything that's good, anything that's going to make you smile and happy, those are the things that you want, and those are the things that you need in your life. So much misery, you've cried, you've been sad, you've been angry, you've been frustrated, and it's just all negative emotions. But you want to make sure that you set these positive boundaries for yourself and moving forward, what you want and what you need. So and then constantly tell yourself that. Let it be an affirmation. Let it be an affirmation. Look in the mirror or look in your phone camera and say, I deserve to be treated with respect. Because you do. You do deserve to be treated with respect. No one should be out here disrespecting. And then you can turn that into a boundary, right? Letting people know that you want and you deserve to be respected. You could turn it into a boundary by saying, I'm willing to have a conversation with you, but if you shout, swear, or call me names, I will leave, disconnect this call. I will block this. I said, I can throw this into this video, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say like a little PS. I personally think that is still something that should not happen. I personally think that. Let me know in the comments below if you guys think that is a good boundary to set if you're still going to communicate with your abuser. I personally don't think you should even communicate with them at all. No contact means no contact at all. Don't talk to me. Go your way. Let me go mine so I can finally be happy and have peace in my life. That's how I see it. Are ones that have so much, I don't know what word I should use, compassion, or some type of care still for that person, because I still do care, but I don't reach out. I don't communicate. And if in the event, I always said to myself, if in the event later on in the future, if I happen to see that person later on and they decide to speak to me, I'm not going to treat them like as if they don't exist. If they say, hey, how are you? I'm well, and keep moving. Like there's no room for stand and have conversation and let you know what's going on with my life. It's not your business. And I, quite frankly, don't want to know about yours, because that chapter has now closed. Do I wish death? Do I wish any ill will on them? No, not at all. I just personally feel like it's less communication, the better. The less communication with the abuser, the better. Prepare for complex emotions. And when I say complex emotions, a lot of breakups and separations and everything, it tends to involve a lot of painful feelings. That is so true. When I left my abusive relationship recently, and because I had so much love for that person and everything, and I never expected that person to treat me that way. And when I finally left, it caused so much painful feelings. And it put me through a state of depression at one point, because like I said, I've known this person for so many years. And it's like when we're finally got together, it was like, okay, everything was good at first. And then all of a sudden, bam, here comes the narcissistic traits. Here comes the abuse. Here comes the disrespect and talking back and, everything else. So some of these painful feelings that I did experience, which I have also seen and witnessed and with other survivors of abuse, were grief and loss. You're grieving that you lost that relationship, and you start to feel like it was your fault. You start to wish that things have never gone the way it did, which is, it's natural, it's normal, because we're still human and we have feelings. So of course that's natural. That's one way. Shock. Like I said, you never expected this person to treat you this way, and this happened, and then now leaving this relationship have caused this emotional, painful feeling of shock, anger, sadness, and feeling of depression. Like I stated a second ago, like I actually went through that state of depression when I finally left my abusive. My body does not take good to stress at all. Not even if there's a bill and I can't pay it right now or whatever this is, you know, I can't take stress like at all. I don't like anything or anybody stressing me out because it takes a toll on me. So just imagine like leaving that abusive, toxic, narcissistic abuse. It did cause me to slip into a depression, and I had to pretty much shake that off because I felt like at one point, and as I said in one of my previous videos, I stated that at some point you think that that was love, but love doesn't hurt you. Love doesn't make you feel like crap. Love does not, you know, treat you negatively or put you down, shut you up, or abuse you in any way, shape, or form. I did at one point, when I first left the relationship, it did push me into depression because at first I was like, yeah, you know, good. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I have my peace and everything, and I'm happy. And oh my gosh, my skin got clearer, everything. And then everything start to settle and start to sit on me. And I'm like going over good memories, and I went over bad memories, and then I'm looking at pictures that I've taken of of the abuse that I've gone through, and I literally took pictures so that it can be a constant reminder of what not to go back to. And that's why I took those pictures. I hate looking at them, but I look at them for that simple reason. I look at them for that simple reason because it makes me stronger. Because I don't look like that anymore. I've healed. I've healed not only physically on the outside, but I've healed spiritually. And I've also healed mentally. And I'm still in the healing process. There have been so much things that has happened in my lifetime that, as I stated in my previous videos as well, I have seen abuse my entire life. So to now not be in it, and to just pretty much live a toxic-free life right now, this is good. It's good. But at one point, I thought that that was love. I thought that that was how it was supposed to be because I've always seen it. And, you know, my family members always stayed. And I thought that that's how it was supposed to go. But then I had to turn around and love myself. I had to talk to God, and God said, no, that's not love. You need to get out, and I'm going to help you. And he did. And I'm so happy now. I have so much peace. I do still suffer from depression still, but not from that. I have so many other things that has happened, like the passing of my mom. There's a lot of other things, childhood trauma. So it's a lot that I'm still healing from. But as far as the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual abuse that I have endured recently and in the past, I have healed. I've healed. So if I can heal, guys, you guys can heal. You guys have to bring out that strength. If you feel like you don't have strength within yourself, pray and ask God for strength. He will give it to you. He said all we have to do is ask him, and he would give us that. Ending a relationship that was characterized by a narcissistic abuse, you might experience anxiety, fear, paranoia, and shame. I I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have experienced any of that. I know I was super afraid. I was like, where I'm going, I don't want him to know where I am. I don't want him to find out where I am. Everything. I had to make sure I was looking at my surroundings every single time. And I prayed and I asked God to take away that spirit of fear, because I don't want to live my life in fear. I left. God allowed that door to open for me to leave. So, and he's protected me this entire time. So what made me think that he's not going to continue to protect me? If you guys don't believe in God, but you guys believe in a higher power, the universe, or however, just know that you've been protected. If you're watching this video, you've been protected thus far, and you're out of that toxic relationship right now, and you're just pretty much living your life, just spending time with you, spending time with your kids and everything, and you're just happy and you have peace. You survived. You've made it out alive. So that's something to be happy and smile about. It does cause a lot of anxiety. Just by the very mention of my abuser's name, my heart started to palpitate. I was shaking. I started breathing heavy. I started started hyperventilating, and he was nowhere near, but it was just the very mention of his name or anything pertaining to him. I start to get real anxious, and I start to get afraid. I started to become afraid. I had fear. And like I said, I was looking around and making sure, like, okay, is this person following me? I started to become very paranoid. And I had to realize, like, hold up, girl. Like, no, he's not following you. You don't have to be afraid anymore, and the anxiety will come and go until you fully heal. So now that I'm fully healed, that doesn't happen anymore. So that's what I'm saying. You guys, when you get to a point where you are fully healed and you're fully recovered, you won't feel these feelings anymore. But for the ones that are just recently coming out of an abusive, toxic, narcissistic relationship, these tips are for you. And I would love for you to take these tips into Toxic account. People can cause a lot of pain, but they also have a knack for getting you to believe in their reality. So they always say, oh, you're delusional. No, sweetheart, you're delusional. That's what, because they make this whole thing up in their head. And say, for instance, like gaslighting, they would make it seem like you're the one that's crazy. And in all actuality, it's them. They will create this whole reality, and then they try to make you believe that reality is real. And it's not. You may have sustained some deep emotional wounds. You might still have questions of your own actions. Like I said, questioning yourself. Okay, did I do something? What did I say? Oh my gosh, should I wear this? Should I not wear this? If I wear this, is he or she gonna say something? Or should you're constantly questioning yourself. Off a toxic relationship can also trigger feelings of guilt and disloyalty. And that happens so often. It happens so often. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of that guilt trip comes from the manipulation of what you've gone through in the abusive relationship. And because you've been manipulated for so long, you start to feel guilty. And it's not your fault. I'm going to keep saying that it's not your fault, because it's not. If you are watching this video and you're coming out of a toxic relationship, know that it's not your fault. That person has demons. That person has narcissistic traits and behaviors that cause them to do certain things. It's not justified. This is not a justification on why they do it. They shouldn't do it at all. A lot of them, what is going on with my throat? A lot of them are going through their own battles within themselves, and they don't like themselves. So because they don't like themselves, they're not going to go punch themselves. They're not going to push themselves down, or, yell at themselves. They're going to do it on the next person that's close to them. And that person was you. You become this human punching bag for everything that they are fighting within themselves. Okay? But just know that it's not your fault. You did not cause any of that to happen to you. It had nothing to do with it. Another tip in recovery from a toxic or narcissistic relationship is to reclaim your identity. So I know that people with narcissistic traits often expect others to pretty much behave in certain ways, right? And when you don't behave in those ways, they start to belittle you, criticize you, and for failing to meet those standards. Okay. So, and then some examples of that I would say will be like, I can't think of an example, but, for instance, like your ex would say, your hair looks stupid or ugly, so you need to change it. Am I not my own person? Can I not wear my hair how I want to wear it? Can I not wear the clothes that I want to wear? Like, what is your problem? Is your parent regularly told you how foolish you were for wasting time on music, so you gave up playing any instrument that you were so interested in. That's another narcissistic abuse. They tend to say, well, you're not going to make it far in this music industry, playing the flute or playing the piano or something. Hello, there's so many people that plays the piano that have made it so far. And yes, they have gone through that, but guess what? You can do it too. You can do anything that you put your mind to. So just pretty much reclaim your identity. If you change your looks and style or lost things that you used to value as a result of this manipulation, you might feel as if you no longer know yourself very well. So, and then part of this recovery here is getting reacquainted with who you are. It's getting reacquainted with who you are. You're learning to love yourself again. You're getting to know you again. You're getting to the things that you used to do and wanted to do and love to do again. That's reacquainting yourself, right? Or figuring out what you enjoy. What do you enjoy? Do you like just watching movies? Do you like to cook? Do you like to create new things? Do you like to build things? Just find out what are certain things that you enjoy doing. That's a way that you can reclaim your identity within yourself. Build yourself back up. Don't let the words of these negative naysayers turn around and put you down to the point where you think so low of yourself. You're beautiful inside and out, and you're definitely stronger than anybody that I know. I may not know you guys personally, but you guys are my family. And this is why I sit and have these conversations with you all. And I just pretty much give these tips. One more after this one. Understand that your feelings may linger, right? Love can be difficult in part because you can't really control it, right? You can't control who you fall in love with. You can't. I mean, you can. But when you have really fallen in love with a person, there are certain things it's like, okay, oh my gosh, okay, you kind of like overlook it because it's like, oh, I love them so much, and that's something I can work with. After ending the relationship, you might still hold on to positive memories and wish you could somehow experience those days again. But it's important to recognize you don't need to stop loving someone to start healing. That is so important, guys. That is so important. Just because you love that person so much, that don't mean you have to stop your healing process. You don't. You have to learn to let go, forgive them, and move forward. and continue your healing. You have to heal for you. You can't heal for them. You have to heal for yourself. The healing process is so important because if you don't heal and you don't heal properly, you can slip back into another toxic, abusive, narcissistic relationship without realizing. You may realize it when you're so deep in and it seems as though there may be no way out. You want to make sure that you say, okay, woosah, I forgive you. I have to move forward and I have to continue my healing process. Like I said, reclaim your identity. Know who you are. Know what you like, what you don't like. Know what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. Don't put yourself in a box. You're so much bigger and better than that. Step outside of that box and look at it as a complete whole and just say, I want to do this for me. There's nothing wrong with being you. There's nothing wrong with fixing or healing for yourself because we tend to put others before ourselves and we get left on the back burner. But no more, guys. No more. Love yourself enough to say, I love you, but I'm gonna have to love you from a distance. That was toxic, and I can't do that again. I can't do that anymore with you or with anybody moving forward, whether it's a relationship, friendship, familyship, whatever. Don't do it. If it's something negative and it's gonna hold you back, let it go. It's not worth it. You set a goal and a standard for yourself that I really, really love. And this is the one that I want to touch on. This is the last tip. There are many. I may do a part 2 of this video to continue the other ones that I have researched. I just didn't want this video to be too long. So this is the last tip here in recovering from a narcissistic, toxic, or abusive relationship. Take care of you. That's it. Take care of you because you deserve it. When I say that, relax. Get some restful sleep. Find a hobby. Eat balanced meals. Start exercising. See a therapist. Try some coping skills. Just take care of yourself. If you see that you were breaking out while you were in this relationship and it caused so much stress acne, you can start to take care of yourself, get your skin together. What they call it, a glow up. Do that. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve so much better than what you have been accepting and tolerating for a long time. You're a queen. You're a king. Do something for you. Spend time with yourself. I know there's a lot of people. I know a few people that can't be they can't be single. They have to be in a relationship. And that's because they have a fear of being by themselves. But how are you going to get to know what you like to do? What are your hobbies? Spend time with yourself. How are you able to do that if you're constantly in a new relationship? Give yourself time because you have to heal. If you don't heal, you'll be taking baggage, the old baggage and the baggage that you created, being by yourself and then getting into another relationship. You're going to take that baggage with you. And it's going to cause more turmoil. And you're going to try to figure out, well, why does this keep happening to me? That's because you never allowed yourself to heal, sweetheart. You have to allow yourself to heal. And healing does not come overnight. Healing takes a while. It takes a while to heal, and that's from experience. So I know this video is kind of long, but I am going to still post it because there are a lot of people that need to hear this. And I hope some of these tips help you in your road to recovery from a narcissistic, toxic, abusive relationship. And I do wish your healing journey to be as smooth as possible. But if it's not, just know that there's a higher power and he can definitely help. Say a prayer. Make sure you look at and do some affirmations. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself that you love you. Tell yourself that you're going to do better for yourself this year and moving forward. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments, what are some of the experiences that you have experienced? And what are some ways that you are going about your recovery? What are some ways, what are some of the paths that you are taking on your road to recovery from these abusive, narcissistic, and toxic relationships? Before we go, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on that post notification bell so every single time I post a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks for chatting with me.